Windows Recursive Touch Command. In Windows 7, how can I recursively touch all files in a directory, including subdirectories, in order to update the date timestamp? Does Windows 7 have a mechanism to accomplish this?
There are several possibilities. Use a port of a Unix touch command and simply combine find and touch in the Unix way. There are several choices. Oft mentioned are GNU Win32, Cygwin, and UNSUTools. Less well known, but in some ways better, are the tools in the SFU Utility Toolkit, which run in the subsystem for Unix-based applications that comes right there in the box with Windows 7 Ultimate Edition and Windows Server 2008 R2. For Windows XP, one can download and install services for Unix version 3.5. This toolkit has a large number of command line 2E tools, from MV and do, through the Korn and C shells, to Perl and Awk. It comes in both x86-64 and IA64 flavors as well as x86-32. The programs run in Windows native proper POSIX environment rather than with emulator DLLs, such as Cygwin1.dll, layering things over Win32. And yes, the toolkit has touch and find, as well as some 300 others. All of these toolkits have the well-known disadvantage of running a separate process for every file to be touched, of course. That's not a problem with the following alternatives. Use one of the many native Win32 touch commands that people have written and published. Many of them support options to perform recursion without the necessity for a Unix find to wrap around them. They are, after all, targeting a user base that is looking for a touch command because it doesn't have a whole load of ported Unix commands. One such is Stefan Duguay's Touch, which as you can see has a recursive option. Get clever with the arcane mysteries of CMD. As mentioned in the other answer, copy if bmyfile plus comma will update a file's last modification date stamp using the little known plus syntax of the copy command, more on which can be found here, incidentally. This of course can be combined with for to perform the operation recursively, as hinted at in another answer here. Use a replacement command interpreter and be less clever and more straightforward than CMD-JP Software's TCC-LA is one such. It adds an S option to its copy command, meaning that one could use copy S with the plus syntax to eliminate the need for a for wrapper. But that's really still making life unnecessarily difficult for oneself, considering that TCC-LA has a built-in touch command that directly supports an S option.
To use only existing Windows functionality, nothing extra to install, try one of these. Recursively touch all files starting in the specified path. Or recursively touch all files starting in current directory.
Since they are readily available, I would recommend taking advantage of the UNSUTools. They include the find and touch commands, which will make this very easy. After changing to the topmost directory you wish to modify,
I know this is probably a bit too late, but nevertheless, I'll leave my answer just in case someone else needs the same thing. John T's answer didn't work for me on Windows 7. After some research, I found this utility called timestamp, which does the job perfectly. Here's an article with more details on how it works, this URL. Here are the steps you need to perform. Install the application. Go to the directory where you needed to change timestamps. Search for * in the search box so that the Explorer shows all files. When all the files are found, select them all, right-click on them and choose Properties. In the dialog, choose the Timestamps tab. Adjust your dates and times as needed and click on Touch. Voila! All your files have been updated. No need for any Unix utils or command lines.
Or you could use the tools already built into Windows, once you already have a touch tool of some kind. Or NB, if you're doing this from a batch file and want to use the for command, make sure to use double %signs for your variables. E.g. %i instead of %i.
CK 2.